I turned 30 this year and I regret all of my tattoos. Let's talk about it. I got all of my tattoos when I was between 18 and 21. Pretty much my entire left sleeve was done by the time I turned 19, and everything else was done pretty much at the end of being 21. Now that I am almost 30, I wish I didn't get pretty much 90% of everything that is on my body. The types of tattoos that I love on women now that I'm older and I have a different mindset, are the dainty, random, sporadic tattoos that are very small, very fine lined. They look very cute, but I feel like what I have is very dark, it's very loud, it's very random, and it just doesn't give the vibe that I want to give off when I dress a certain way anymore, and it actually bothers me. I truly feel like when I try to recreate a look or recreate an outfit, it doesn't give the same vibe as it would if I had nothing on my body. For example, this outfit right now. This aesthetic looks completely different on a girl with no tattoos. It looks very like effortless Brandy Melville, but on me, it doesn't look that way, if that makes sense. When I got my tattoos, it was very much in the Tumblr, like hipster era, and the people I surrounded myself with at the time had a bunch of tattoos. If you had tattoos as a female, you were looked at as like intimidating or a rebel, and that kind of represented who I was in that moment. But now that I'm married and I'm an adult, everything that I have on my body at this point really doesn't represent me or who I am. I also hate that if I go out without makeup or I go out like low effort outfit, no makeup, I kind of just look like I do crack. Don't get me wrong, I forget that I have them like 90% of the time. They're a part of my skin. I've had them, you know, for over 10 years. I just wish I would have went a different route. And I know a lot of people could say, well, why don't you just get them removed? Just get your tattoos removed. It would cost probably thousands of dollars to get my tattoos removed, because when you go in for laser, you're not going in for one session. You have to do multiple sessions to get your tattoos removed. And it's so pricey, it's so painful, it's so time consuming, it's just not worth it. It would just make more sense to keep what I have rather than go through the process of spending thousands of dollars to remove them. But I do wish I could go back to my younger self.
What if the tattoo you were absolutely obsessed with at 20 becomes the thing you wish you could erase at 40? It's wild how fast our style, priorities, and even the way we see ourselves can change. But the ink doesn't get the memo.
Get ready with me while I tell you why I regret getting all the tattoos that I have.
I finally reached the stage where I regret all my tattoos. When I was younger, I thought it made me look cooler, more expressive, more interesting, but now I look at them and I'm like, what the actual F was I thinking? And 90% of them don't even have a meaning. It was just impulsive decisions, influence, bad influence. and wanting to fit an image at that particular time. And most of the time now, I'm constantly trying to cover them up, not just from other people, but from myself. Yep, I try to hide them from myself as well, because I don't want to see them. And I have been thinking about laser removal for the longest time, but there are so many, I don't even know where I'll start from. This is the part where I say, I wish my mom was alive today so she could hear me say these words today, because I wish I had listened, because she told me, she warned me.
It's officially happened. I've reached that stage in my life where I regret my tattoos. Yep. I don't know if my frontal lobe's developing or what. I've changed a lot just in the past 2 years, especially the past 10 years, and I just really wish I wouldn't have gotten my tattoos. So here we are. I know, not everybody regrets their tattoos. There's many people, I don't regret mine. That's fine, I'm happy for you. That's great, but I would say really think before you get a tattoo, because you may regret it someday, but I think most anybody that has tattoos has been told that, and most anybody that's got tattoos doesn't listen to that advice, you know? So, I guess the bonus is, if you get old and saggy, I feel like your skin would look cooler with tattoos. I mean, I like it when I see, like, old people with tattoos, but I just am not a fan of mine anymore. So...
And that's the part people underestimate. Laser removal isn't exactly a quick undo button. It can take multiple treatments, a lot of money, and plenty of patience. Basically, your younger self makes one decision, and your future self gets the bill.
I regret almost all my tattoos, so let's talk about it. And if you're in your 20s or younger and you're about to get a tattoo, please just pause. And let me tell you why. I got most of my tattoos anywhere between, I was under 25 and I started getting them, I think, when I was like 17, 18. And that was probably the dumbest idea ever. I clearly got a full sleeve. I got a bunch of random crap all over my body, and I loved it at the time. It was a fun time in my life, and I really, really don't recommend that you do that. Your style will change. You will change. I'm not saying that everyone is going to regret it, but most people are not the same people that they were. Actually, no one is the same person that they were 10 years ago. And the chances of you still loving your tattoo exactly the way it was when you got them is very, very slim. And it took me a really, really long time for me to like actually admit that out loud. And now I'm in the process of trying to go through laser tattoo removal, and it sucks. It sucks. It's expensive. It's a long process. It's expensive. And I do not want for you to go through that mistake. And then if you are in your adult like 30s or like further along and you have all these tattoos and this mistake, do not feel embarrassed about it. Do not feel that shame. It doesn't matter if people are going to say, I told you so. It's fine to regret it. So please pause if you are thinking about getting a tattoo, because I know it's obvious, but that thing is permanent on your body. And there is like, yeah, you can get laser removal, but literally it's almost like no going back, because it is a long process. It's probably going to take me a couple years to get this off, and it is not a fun process.
All right, y'all. So you know how you do things in life when you're younger and you later regret it as you get older. For me, that was getting tattoos. The worst thing I could have done when I was younger was mark my body up in places that I just hate to look at today in my 40s. I ended up getting tattoos on my chest. These tattoos here on my chest. When I was probably like 18 years old. Regret it. And I don't regret a whole lot of things in life because I learned a lot from them. But getting these is something I absolutely wish I wouldn't have done. That's why I always tell my daughter and other young girls that I talk to, you can't talk them out of getting tattoos, but just be mindful of where you put them, because you don't want to get older and just be like, why did I do that? Why did I put that on my body? So I started the tattoo process removal years ago. I went to this place in Atlanta and they closed down. So I only was able to get maybe 1 or 2 sessions. So I ended up finding another place. And now I'm about to go for a consultation to see how many sessions I need to get these removed. Although I'm very nervous about it, because although I really hate these, I don't want those bleachy looking marks on my body or the burnt look like right in the middle of my chest. So I'm hoping that it's a seamless process. They're able to remove it because it's not that dark and it's not that big. So hopefully it's like really easy to remove and it's not as painful. So yeah, y'all, time to start. This is day 1 of my tattoo removal process, and I'm gonna take y'all along with me. But I will say this message is for any young girls or anybody who is thinking of just randomly putting tattoos on your body. Think long and hard about where you're putting the tattoos. I mean, I would say don't get them, but hey, we all go through that phase of wanting tattoos. But just be mindful where you putting them on your body, because you have to get older. And now in my 40s, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
I was talking to my best friend and I was telling her, like, oftentimes I look at my sleeve and I look at my tattoos and I'm like, why did I get this? Why didn't I wait to do this? Why did I let this artist do this? Like, why do I have like, I just have tattoo regret. But it's one of those things where I'm not gonna do tattoo removal because it's too painful and expensive. And why would I remove a tattoo when I could just get another tattoo? So it's kind of like I'm gonna continue on with that aesthetic and I will continue getting tattoos. But I do have tattoo regret, and I know that I probably have it for the rest of my life, even as I continue to get more tattoos. But I am too deep in this now. There's no turning back. But all that to say is, if you have a clear canvas body, I love that. And you are so niche and you are so cute. And sometimes I wish I was you. However, I'm not. So I will be continuing on with the aesthetic. That's just all that. That's just it.
I regret almost all of my tattoos. So let's talk about it. So I've been just kind of wanting to share a little bit about my kind of experience. This is a little bit vulnerable, obviously a little controversial, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. So I am 36 and I got most of my tattoos. Actually, I started out when I was like 17, 18. I got my first tattoo. I think I got like some stars behind my ear. And then progressively I started getting some more. I got like a large piece on my side. And then I just started getting sporadically everywhere. I got a couple down my arm. And then after I got married, when I was like 26, that's when I got my full sleeve. And yeah, I loved it. It was a really, really great time of my life. I'm going to start getting ready while I'm talking to you. So I have somewhere to go. And yeah. So it was I loved it. It was awesome. Obviously, when I was getting them, I didn't think I would regret it. I felt like I would love them forever. It was part of like my vibe then. I'm obviously in the creative field, so I feel like, and I'm originally from New York, so I feel like it's not very out there to like see people who have, especially like women who have a lot of tattoos who, in my industry also. And yeah, I've always loved it. And I remember even telling my husband that, like, specifically when I was getting my sleeve, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be one of those like really, really cool grandmas who, has like a really, really cool sleeve and a fun story to tell to my grandkids about like how sick of a young 20-something-year-old I was when I got it. And, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like it was fun. That's kind of where I was in my life. But now I have 2 kids. I'm 36. I was gonna say I'm 20. No, I feel like I am in my head, but I'm not. Definitely not. I'm 36 years old. I am just completely in a different phase of my life. I don't think there's anything wrong with tattoos, but it honestly just feels like, I think I read this quote somewhere that it was like, a tattoo kind of feels like something along the lines of like you're picking a band tee that you have to wear for the rest of your life. And I could not relate to something so much. I feel like exactly, like I feel like it doesn't go with my vibe anymore. And I also feel like sometimes just for me personally, sometimes when I want to dress up very, very elegantly, for like a wedding, or if I just don't want it there, sometimes with like certain outfits or something, it just gets in the way, and it's just not who I am anymore. I see it on other people and I think it looks totally fine for them. I'm just not in this phase of my life anymore that I want it. So I'm in the process right now of honestly wanting to laser almost all of them. And this video is for people who are in like my age range or actually even older, and you feel like you have all these tattoos and there's some shame in that you're like, because I remember I had to prove it to myself, to others later, when I was getting these tattoos. They were like, oh, you're going to regret it, whatever. And I remember just being like, like, F off, I know what I want and like, I'm not going to regret it. I love it. So this is for them, for these videos, for those people who feel like you have a little bit of shame there and you're like, I didn't want to admit to anyone that like I wouldn't probably regret it. But honestly, I got like at least 10 years, some even almost 20 years of tattoo, wear out of it. I got the cost per wear. And second, like, so what? Who cares what people say? Like, I'm not going to keep this stuff on for the sake of pride, and it's okay if you want to take it off, if you could afford it, and if you're willing to go through that process, like, do it. And then also this video is for people who are considering a tattoo, especially if you're young. Just think about it. Think about it a little bit more, because the quotes I've been getting, they are expensive. And I have just been watching videos that it is painful and it is a process, a long process and a long commitment. And I do regret it. I think I just said like, oh, I got like 10 or 20 years out of it. But do I wish I had to go through it? No, absolutely not. I wish that I just like didn't have to go through it and like whatever. Like I'm gonna put on my big girl panties and just go through it because it is what it is. But if I can save someone, you know, the tens of thousands of dollars or whatever, or like the years of removal that it's going to take to get, you know, to get through it, then so be it. But I'm not going to keep these for my pride, you know, because like a bunch of people told me, oh, you're going to regret it one day. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was like, no, I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not that person anymore. And it's okay to admit that. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And I'm proud to say that. Some people do get tattoos back then and like still love it. Some people get tattoos now, you know, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, and they're happy about that. And I actually think that that's amazing. If you are so sure of yourself and you start getting those tattoos when you are, when your brain is actually a lot more developed. So, and that's probably a better decision, to be honest. But that's not what I did, and that's not the path I chose. So I'm just speaking to everyone who went the path that I did, and just to let you know that it's okay. It's okay. We all mess up in this world, and it's okay. So, once I do start and I find the place that I'm going to use, I will go through this journey with you and hopefully begin to document that. I'm hoping to start soon. It is summer here, so I don't know how that goes, but it is a long process. But I am hoping to begin to document it because it's going to be a process.
Wait, yes. Every tattoo I've ever received, the next day I wake up like, what have I done? I think it's a normal thing with people that have a hard time adjusting with change.
I'm gonna tell y'all this now. My biggest regret as a teenager was getting fucking tattoos all over my motherfucking body. People can be like, oh, I love my tattoos, they're art. Guess what? I'm trying to climb into different areas and tattoos are just not acceptable. Y'all can say, oh, 26 tattoos are acceptable. No, they're really still not. And honestly, you don't look as good in a sleeveless vest blazer with fucking tattoos on your arm. And maybe if my work was better, but I have these fucking Pinterest ass fucking shits on my arm. Like, what is this? I promise you, it was my braces. And then I was like, I'm gonna get something done on my body. But the next thing that I have to get done is fucking tattoo removal. And like, all I have to say is wear your fucking retainer. And also, don't get fucking tattoos before you're...
The biggest lesson isn't that tattoos are bad. Plenty of people love theirs forever. It's that you're not guaranteed to be the same person 10 or 20 years from now. So before making something permanent, give your future self a vote. Because sometimes the hardest part isn't getting the tattoo. It's admitting you've outgrown it.